There's something about KATSEYE that feels unlike anything the industry has seen before, especially with their new take on K-pop, making them possible pioneers for a whole new era in the industry's all-engrossing identity. From the very beginning, KATSEYE's presence has been both familiar and jarringly new, as they've stood on stages like M Countdown in Seoul and Good Morning America in New York from the start of their careers. They've filmed the classic relay dance videos that K-pop fans love, while also debuting on the Billboard 200 with their first EP. One member has been spotted training in Korean etiquette, while another performs proudly wearing Tamil traditional accessories, and it's because of this diversity and reach that many are celebrating the breath of fresh air they are introducing. In fact, even the very definition of what makes a group K-pop is being challenged in real time, and this new definition might even revolutionize the genre going forward. When HYBE and Geffen partnered to create KATSEYE through the Global Survival Program, the debut Dream Academy, it was clear this wasn't going to be a standard girl group launch. Everything about the project was designed to take the fundamental elements of the K-pop system and export them directly into a global context in order to create a new form of hybrid group that could reach international audiences like never before. Letting anyone all over the globe audition for a chance was only the first step of the project, as KATSEYE was never just about adding more international members to a Korean group. HYBE had made it clear that they wanted to see if the system itself could thrive beyond Korea's borders while still retaining its recognizable K-pop DNA. The 6 members of KATSEYE still proudly trained under the same intensive system that built groups like BTS and LE SSERAFIM, and even appeared at KCON and Mama, both major fixtures of Korean pop culture. Their concepts and choreography have been meticulously planned the way any Korean idol group would be, but this is where the familiar ends. One important difference is that while KATSEYE has been able to participate in all of these things, the group hasn't actually debuted in Seoul, and most of the members haven't spent years immersed in Korean language and cultural training with the goal of assimilating into Korea's idol culture. HYBE and Geffen made a deliberate choice to let each member's unique identity remain intact in the group, even making it a priority that all activities and talks would happen in English. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into K-pop phenomena, and don't forget to let us know what you think about KATSEYE's direction in K-pop in the comments down below. Adding to it, Sophia also proudly brings her Filipino heritage to the stage, while Lara embraces her Tamil roots, sometimes incorporating them visually into her performances. The group's main dancer, Daniela, has also described how her Latin and Spanish-speaking background influences her singing and dancing in a way that feels authentic to her culture rather than adapted to someone else's. In the end, the group naturally switches between English, Tagalog, Korean, and Spanish, both in their songs and in how they interact with fans, as they prioritize amplifying each member's background in order to shape the group's sound and image. The members themselves have spoken openly about how their different cultural identities don't just coexist, as they actively fuel the group's artistry. In an interview with Weverse magazine, Daniela described how blending their cultural perspectives creates completely new forms of self-expression, allowing fans from all over the world to see themselves reflected in the group. Megan also emphasized that their diversity is the heart of what makes KATSEYE special, explaining that their different experiences and viewpoints add something unique to the group, and instead of clashing, these differences truly strengthen them. This is a very new-gen way of operating, which drastically differs from how K-pop groups usually market themselves, even when they do incorporate members of different ethnicities. Usually, the Korean way of living is still prioritized over each member's diversity, as even foreign idols in Korean groups were expected to conform to learn Korean fluently, adopt Korean etiquette, and often downplay their personal cultures to fit into a homogenous group identity. KATSEYE is now proof that K-pop doesn't necessarily need to be confined to Korea anymore, especially with how rapidly it is extending into international fields with each passing year. The debate over whether KATSEYE should be classified as a K-pop group has also become one of the most fascinating conversations in the global music industry, as all the things that make them special also make them very obviously not K-pop to some people. On the surface, the term K-pop traditionally describes a formula, and their creative direction is tightly controlled, their personal lives often kept private, and they typically spend years building their careers domestically before reaching international fame. By that definition, KATSEYE doesn't fit neatly at all, and that's exactly why many opinions about them are so divided. With even their main base of operations being in Los Angeles rather than Seoul, critics argue that the group only carries a K-pop label because HYBE is behind them, even claiming that the group is capitalizing on K-pop aesthetics without committing to its actual cultural core. As one skeptic noted, due to their ties to the West, the group to them feels more like Western pop dressed up with K-pop visuals. But perhaps that's missing the point entirely, as another fan pointed out that KATSEYE isn't trying to be BTS or Blackpink, they're trying to be the best of both worlds. The group's goal seems to be neither full assimilation nor complete separation. Instead, they've created a third space, where they are living as a K-pop inspired group that could fit under any one category. In fact, many fans and industry insiders argue that this perspective is too narrow. K-pop stopped being strictly geographical years ago, and if BTS could sell out stadiums in Los Angeles and Blackpink could headline Coachella, then the genre has already transcended borders. HYBE's entire strategy with KATSEYE seems to be pushing this evolution further by creating a group that is global from the start rather than Korean first and international later. This has allowed the group to not only affect K-pop spaces but also Western ones, as their influence has even reached heavily discussed American spaces, with their newest Gap ad being a prime example. Joining an active political conversation by partnering with the clothing brand, millions of eyes are now on the group as their identity is even being discussed by people who know next to nothing about K-pop. But the attention isn't just based on the group's activities alone, as many are even impressed by the freedom that the members have despite being under the HYBE label. It cannot be denied that KATSEYE's member dynamics and public personas are very different compared to traditional K-pop idols, as the girls often go viral online for their behavior in front of cameras or funny chat moments from Weverse. A viral Reddit thread highlighted how noticeably freer the girls seem compared to their peers, with one fan describing how, during a single live stream, Lara casually looked up Wattpad fanfiction about the group, gave advice to someone unsure about their sexuality, and read a comment about a fan's very personal situation. In another video, Megan and Lara openly admitted to going on a double date, showing that the members are not only actively dating, but also have no issue openly discussing it in front of fans. In fact, there have been several times when some members were even seen out and about on what fans believe to be dates. The members also directly address both positive and negative discourse about them online, something most K-pop idols avoid due to strict management policies. This openness has led many fans to wonder whether HYBE deliberately gives KATSEYE more freedom, as it's clear that Western markets value authenticity and relatability more than the carefully maintained mystique common in K-pop. Indeed, some commenters believe that's exactly the strategy, saying, yes, because HYBE knows this is the way to become popular internationally, and I think that it's working well so far. Others argue it might not just be about corporate strategy, but also cultural differences, as some debated that even if HYBE tried to control them more, young women in the West are way more likely to just do what they want anyway. And that's doubly true of the KATSEYE girls, since they're all very big personalities, like you try telling them no. Many fans actually see this looser approach as one of the reasons for KATSEYE's growing popularity. KATSEYE's ability to act with more freedom and show off their personalities is a big reason for their popularity. More labels should do the same. And with so many tightly managed idols, KATSEYE's unfiltered and candid behavior feels refreshing even if it shocks traditionalists. Seeing the way the group is able to behave and perform, many see it as a fresh new thing that K-pop could learn a lot from in order to create a happier and freer environment, not just for the fans, but also for the groups. Some celebrate KATSEYE as a true blueprint for the future, as many can see how the genre is more and more becoming about the idol system and the artistic structure than about nationality or behavior. KATSEYE member Sophia even spoke on how she herself definitely feels like an idol, despite all the differences in their operations as a group, as she once addressed how it felt to do promotions in Korea, saying, "I'm so happy to go back to my hometown as a K-pop idol." Ultimately, the group doesn't necessarily fit neatly into any one box, and that's precisely what makes them special. They follow many of the K-pop industry's core practices, but break from others, like the strict cultural assimilation and image control. By doing this, they've shown that a global idol group doesn't need to erase individuality or cultural heritage to succeed under the system, and instead, their diverse backgrounds and candid personalities are part of their brand. If K-pop is defined by its distinctive training model, fan culture, and artistic approach, then KATSEYE seems to represent its natural evolution on a global stage. Regardless of whether or not most people believe they fit under the label, their impact in the industry and influence in the fan culture surrounding the genre cannot be denied. And by being undeniably themselves and still dominating global stages, it wouldn't come as a shock if their influence could go as far as to change the strong K-pop model we know and love so well.